Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back to Fallen London. We are going to be carrying on with Caveat Emptor. And in the last episode we had a lovely meal with the Vicomte de V. We are now going to try and find out how it all happened, I think. So we can investigate your estate more thoroughly. This chateau is highly inaccessible. How did the Vicomte de V get inside? You double check every lock. You search the rooms for secret doors. You plumb the cellars and plunder the attics, but only discover more hideous taxidermy. And somehow you doubt that this pickled poodle will help you sniff out any hidden passages, if it even is a poodle. In order to learn more about the building, you'll need to review the property records themselves. You rifle through paperwork from the auction. Here, before you purchased this estate, Penstock's land agency was its last legal executor. It seems that you have an office to visit. Oh, we found some fin bones. Let's go to Penstock's land agency. They say London has 7 labyrinths. But even a labyrinth is designed to be navigated, unlike the 5th city's property laws. Situated hard against the bazaar's eastern flank, Penstock's land agency offers Londoners some little guidance through the carnivorous jungle that's commonly known as the household market. Not without carving a pound for itself. One has to eat in the wild. Penstock suppresses a yawn at his desk. We get to request a consultation with Penstock. According to your property records, his office should have even more records. Oh, says Penstock, flipping through your papers. Oh. He leans back. He scratches his nose. He sneezes, then tucks his dirty handkerchief into his jacket pocket. Always knew this day would come. Nothing to do now but sort it all out. It's not a leasehold. You're the owner. Right. Auctioned. The Vicomte is another client. This address is prime property. For someone like him, anyway, since he's not a human. But you don't need me to tell you that. He heaves a massive stack onto his desk. Other legal contracts. You'll probably want to take a seat. You don't understand half the things Penstock says about the paperwork on his desk, which he assures you is ideal when reading a legal contract. Otherwise, people might start to wonder if it's an illegal contract, and that tends to stall transactions. Besides, if you understood things on your own, then you wouldn't need experts like him. And the bazaar depends upon experts like him to keep the market afloat. The man raises a valid point. Let's inquire about our chateau. You came here to learn more about its architecture and its history. Dates from the medieval period, explains Penstock, unrolling blueprints. You study the schematics with him, coming away more thoroughly acquainted with the plumbing than might be considered completely useful. No hidden doors, no secret rooms. Last owner? That, says Penstock, is an interesting case. Taxidermist, if you couldn't guess. Never lacked for subjects, with the Vicomte for a friend. Whatever rumours you hear, animals disliking him? Truth to that one. Not sapient animals, though. Sapient animals find him charming. He rolls the blueprints back up. So why does the Vicomte care about this property? 3 words. Location, location, location. Let's inquire about the Vicomte de V. Being not human is hardly unusual. Penstock will have to be more specific. He's a real foreigner, if you follow. The bazaar came from very far away. She brought a few things with her. Not on purpose, like how a dog might pick up ticks out in the wilderness. The Vicomte de V, well, he's just like a tick. Like a tick that finally dropped off and purchased an aristocratic title. And Penstock has transacted business for him? I do not discriminate. He can't survive far from his host, so he needs lairs where he can store samples, so to speak. That way, wherever he is in London, he's always near the bazaar. Well, there's nothing for it. Let's inquire about the bazaar. It sounds as though the Vicomte might have a connection. A connection? Right, says Penstock. Is that jealousy you detect? Whatever it is, Penstock smiles sadly, and the impression is gone. He needs to maintain a connection. That's what the samples are for. Night soil of the bazaar. As his property agent, it's my job to move night soil onto his estates. Without it, the Vicomte couldn't stay at his own addresses. He rubs his neck, massaging a muscle. It's hard work moving night soil, but I've got long boxes, soothe and copper. Plenty down in storage after, well, that's another storage. I pack 'em full and then cart 'em out. Let's inquire about the Vicomte's properties. How many does he already own, and what else is he using them for? 3 main properties to let. He's not so different from other landlords. Installs tenants, sucks them dry, but he collects more than money. Penstock looks toward the bazaar. Love. That's what he sucked from her before he started sucking it from Londoners. Love for a person. Love for a pursuit. Love for an ideal or for a skill. Your chateau's last owner loved death. Got along with the Vicomte on that score. He turns back to you. If you want to see, I've got keys. The Vicomte doesn't personally manage his estates. He leaves everything in my hands. Penstock is such a helpful fellow, isn't he? Yeah, so helpful that I don't actually trust him. But, sure, why not? Let's borrow the keys to the Vicomte's estates. Penstock has organised 3 keys into an orderly row on his desk. You'll have to return them later, but I won't tell anyone. Maybe you just want to tour the properties. Or maybe you'll find the Vicomte's private lairs and decide to do something else with the night soil in those long boxes. He wouldn't be able to travel so freely through the city if he didn't have safe havens in different neighbourhoods. Before he hands you the keys, Penstock pauses. I can't work against a client, of course. Legal technicalities. But the Vicomte isn't your client. Another legal technicality. All his tenants might love him, but some people are less smitten. Okay, in order to explore the Vicomte's estates, open your possessions menu and click the 3 new keys listed under your lodgings to travel to each one. Okay, let's see if we can find out any more information. Discuss the Vicomte's lairs. What else can Penstock tell you about them? Since I facilitated the acquisitions, Penstock says, cracking his knuckles, I can confirm that each property's got a lair. That's where the Vicomte keeps night soil of the bazaar in long boxes. If you destroy those long boxes, he won't be able to stay on his estates. He needs a connection, otherwise he'll simply pine away. You know the feeling, don't you? How important a keepsake can be when you're separated from someone you love. I'd never want to be separated. He looks toward a wall where the plaster bulges. Not for a single moment. Well, that kind of shadows something horrendous. There we go, possessions, and then lodgings. There we go. Rat-infested townhouse, Gothic bookshop, and a cobwebbed observatory. Oh, well, let's go to the rat-infested townhouse. Nobody seems to live here, which is how the rodents like it. There are fashionable houses. There are unfashionable houses. And then there are houses that Were they people, they would have been shipped to the tomb colonies. Let's visit this rat-infested townhouse. It's a miracle these doors haven't rotted off their hinges. Place sounds wonderful, doesn't it? You've entered the rat-infested townhouse. Even the boards over the windows have boards over them. Although this property may lack certain features to entertain guests, including any guests willing to enter it, you find that the resident rats in the walls are more than adequately situated. One offers to take your coat. It doesn't say it will give your coat back. You're not alone here. Hopefully, for his sake, this isn't the Vicomte de V's primary residence. Rookeries would be more comfortable. But when people move out, rats move in. Every now and again, something furry scampers past your feet, usually accompanied by an interjection such as, "Watch where you're walking," or "Who let this chump through the door?" Okay, well, let's speak with these ratters, Faber. They might have something more polite to say if you asked about this townhouse. You have to guard your pockets when you talk. There is a criminal network at home here. Rodent robbers and rodent fences who trade with rodent robbers and rodent shoppers who won't ask too many questions. Lovely location, one LB tells you, popping moon pearls from a stolen necklace. We can slink out, grab knickknacks off the street, slink right back. The Vicomte, he never complains, says he loves what we're doing, in fact. Good for rodent morale. And then we apparently stole the moon pearls. Thanks. Well, let's consider how to navigate the property. What will you discover at this address? What might discover you? Okay, this is like the tutorial, I guess. Play the card in your opportunity deck in order to find the Vicomte's lair. You will need to increase your familiarity with the estate to 6. This will allow you to draw a card to eventually destroy the lair and thereby limit the Vicomte's influence around London. If your attention reaches 5, however, you will draw the Vicomte to you, but perhaps that is what you desire. Perhaps you have come here not to destroy anything, but to meet with the Vicomte again, for one reason or another. Either destroying the lair or meeting the Vicomte are ways to conclude your investigation on this estate. You don't need to do both to proceed, and indeed will not be able to do both. Okay, so we need to draw cards. This could be entertaining. A locked vault. You discover it behind a painting on the wall. Oh dear, 0. We can't do that one yet then. Yeah, I won't bother reading it until we can do it. A guided tour. You seem a little lost, says an LB near your knees. If you're after a guide, I'm the rat for the job. Lived in this townhouse my whole life. 4 months. My friend, let me tell you, I've seen everything. From the carpet in the parlour to the lampshade next to it. Experience like mine, if you want to take advantage, it's gonna cost you a pretty penny. How much? Literally a penny. It holds out an open paw and clears its throat with intention. Here, take my money. And this is where the wine got spilled that time when my daft Uncle Wilbert knocked over the bottle. No, of course it isn't blood. What gave you that idea? Blood is much easier to scrub out than mushroom wine. Not that I would, I'd know about that. Here, let me show you where the crumbs, where my great aunt Mathilde trewed through a biscuit box. Reinforced cardboard! You should have seen the glue. Okay, what about the lock vault now? 20%. Let's keep going. Quietly, quietly, the floorboards creak. Whenever you open a door, the hinges squeak. You wouldn't want to alert anyone that you're prowling around, but this townhouse makes it difficult. That's not even counting each time you walked into a room and the rodents shout at you for not knocking first. Let's sneak deeper into the house. Avoid drawing any further unwanted attention. 70% chance. These shadows are satin slippers. You wear them so exquisitely, even the creakiest steps on the staircase do not yield a sigh when you walk up and down. For one single silent moment, such a profound stillness settles over you that you can imagine that you are truly alone. Of course, you eventually hear scratching in the chimney and thumping behind the baseboards and a broken pipe dripping incessantly somewhere. But you have brushed something off, like a tick you didn't know was on your clothes. Whisper satin scarab. Wow. What are we at now? 40? Okay, let's keep going. Unread correspondences. Despite everything Penstock said, this property doesn't appear to be available to let. Not just because it's filled with rats, which certainly wouldn't concern other landlords, but because it bears the Vicomte de V's personal touches. His monograph on the furniture, his gloves on the table, and his name on countless envelopes stuffed through the letter slot. Well, let's examine the letters. They have fallen into a pile on the floor inside the front door. Uh-oh. Most are invitations to salons, soirees, operas, banquets, boudoirs, and even, in a few more risque cases, to graveyards. Many are signed with kisses. All are overflowing with endearments. They are addressed from every social sphere. This one is from a poor seamstress on Flowerdene Street. This one is from a young baron with an old inheritance. This one is stamped with the royal seal. Why, if you were the type to crave social credit, all these letters might make you a touch envious. Not that you are such a type. Okay, well, go for another guided tour. Same as last time, but we'll throw him another penny. It might make it so we can open the safe. Right, so a 3 on the safe would mean 60%. Should we just try it? No, let's try it. Let's keep exploring. Getting warmer. What's this? My word, that is a pungent aroma. Even when you pinch your nose, it stings your sinuses. Is it wafting from the other room? Seeping through the floor or the ceiling? You can practically taste the odour. If it were served as a dish, it would not recommend the chef. Let's follow the scent. It must be coming from the Vicomte's lair. You just have to stomach it. It smells like a churchyard. It smells like an open sewer. It smells like a garden at night, stinking with manure and blossoming with shadow-steeped flowers. Take a deeper breath, a deeper one. Follow your nose and then follow your heart after you've become inured to the odour. When you no longer notice it, when its scent has infused every sense and grown more familiar than the very meat on your bones. We gained 9 romantic notions. We should be able to open that safe now. 80% chance. You discover it behind a painting on the wall. This secretive location naturally means that it must be intended for strangers to open. It has a combination lock, which clearly must have been installed to tempt inquisitive minds. The highest court in the land could not blame you for looking inside. It's a trap, isn't it? Looking to make a withdrawal? Asks a rat when you open the vault. From the inside, it is much less secure. Multiple holes have been drilled in the back, through which rodents are coming and going with jade, glim, and other valuables to deposit. I'll lend you a little for now. You've got to be friends with a Vicomte if you're poking around this townhouse. We have a deal with him, see? Always glad to assist. The pantry. Nothing has been cooked in this kitchen for some time, if the dust on the stove is an indication. And the dust on the countertops, the cutlery, the kettle. Then again, the Vicomte de V is a bachelor, which makes the situation less remarkable. Still, there may be something stashed away in the cupboards. Why am I robbing this man? You can learn a great deal from a person's diet. Yeah, sure. What do you want to find? That is what you will find. Fresh apples, pears, pomegranates, cheese wedges daintily dappled with mould, sausage links spiced with the hottest peppers, or hams whose glazed flanks have been hammered with cloves. Jellies and chocolates and seared salmon steaks swim before your eyes till you notice the voice whispering in your ear. Now there is no whispering. Now there is nothing on the shelves either, except some old tins that a rodent is rifling through. Perhaps you didn't find food, but you found something. Okay, so we found the Vicomte's lair. Your sensitivity sharpens. You slip as the Vicomte would slip along the walls, sticking to the panelled wood more closely than a shadow could. You slink into a darkness that absorbs you, just as the night would absorb a shadow. Here it is. You feel it with your fingertips, although you can't see anything. But it is unmistakably a long box, buried in velvet blackness. Oh, we have to make a choice, don't we? Do we want to sabotage the Vicomte, or do we want to talk to him? Now, personally, I am heavily skewed to ruining this man for some reason. I don't know why. When I found out that he was a space flea, it kind of put me off a little bit. But yeah, let's destroy the Soothing Copper Longbox. You won't allow the Vicomte to use this address as a safe haven any longer, but I have a funny feeling this is going to really piss him off. Stinking clods roll from the longbox when you smash its lid. Here, in a darkness more potent than pitch, every sense is heightened. You can smell the Vicomte's aroma mingled with the loamy richness that clings to your nostrils long after you're gone. Even when you're back at Penstock's desk, handing the key to him. "Smells like success," says Penstock, burying his own nose in his handkerchief. It clings to more than your nostrils. It perfumes your clothes, clouds your thoughts, and whets a nameless appetite. You cannot say for certain that this appetite is yours. Oh dear, what is happening? Well, he needed to establish himself in London. He needed a central address. Never really lived there though, says Penstock. Doesn't live anywhere, to be honest. Maybe you'd call that duplicitous. Hobnobbing around, introducing himself like he's landed gentry when he's a drifter at heart. That's why the rats sympathise, I'd wager. Rats know what it's like to be driven aside, no matter how much you might want to be loved. Not that I sympathise with the rats, he says, finishing a freshly sprung trap out of his desk. Sneaky little bastards. Ha! Yeah, I'll do one more of the houses. Which one do we want to go for here? Let's go to the Gothic Bookshop. Doesn't that sound exciting? Naturally, the Vicomte de V would own a commercial address, with not only tenants on the property, but also customers. There are even more passions for him to consume. Anyone can enter from the street, but your key opens private rooms behind the counter too. Above the door, a wrought iron bat with a bell in its belly jingles. You've entered the Gothic Bookshop. Getting back out might prove more difficult because the books are so engrossing. Not because anything lurks in its darker aisles where the shopkeepers will never venture without extremely sharp pens at the ready. Try not to raise your voice. Shrieking tends to disturb other readers. You're not alone here. Whatever readers find most horrible, they can find here. Magazines brimming with monstrous monsters and redundant adjectives. Penny dreadfuls packed with more betrayals than a state dinner. Economic journals. You don't see the Vicomte de V anywhere, but you do see a few authors scribbling away as though this bookshop were their private study. Let's speak with the author of Gothic tales. He is editing a manuscript in a corner, surrounded by reference books. Upon closer examination, you realise the books in her pile are field guides to mushrooms, poisonous, and tracts on toxicology. Isn't this shop wonderful? They have so many interesting things. Whenever I come, I always find the darlingest little details to add to my novels, she says, adding a detail about open wounds and maggots. I'm not the only one. What writer could browse through these shelves without being inspired to write a new story? Or at least put more corpses into an older one. Okay, well, we understand how to navigate this place. So let's go to storage. Not everything is displayed for purchase. On the lower level, crates are stacked with shipments that have not yet been unpacked. Presumably, they contain books, although books do not generally leak this much. Someone ought to bring a mop down here. It is quiet on this lower level. Nothing should disturb your investigation. Keep searching. You may find something. The hours pass and you find rare imprints, sharpened quills, shattered inkpots. They were not packed properly. No wonder the crates are leaking. 4 hours pass. How many crates have you searched and shifted? How many crates can be stored in this place? Just how large is this place? He keeps going. Therefore, you keep going. And we got 5 map scraps. Other readers. Ooh, that's a familiarity challenge. Let's not worry about that one. Just browsing. There's quite a variety here. From the murderous to the macabre. From the merely grotesque to the lewdly gruesome. There are enough titles to satisfy anyone's taste for a leisurely afternoon read. Let's examine the shelves. Perhaps if you pull out the right book, you'll open a hidden door. That would be very cliché in a bookshop. You don't open any hidden doors, but the characters in these novels certainly open enough on your behalf, by also pulling books from shelves in practically every narrative that features a bookcase. Frequently, the bookcases spin around, plunging the hapless cast into yet another chapter with ancestral horrors too unspeakable to describe, except at great length and with very poor prose. Ooh, the card catalogue. Without a reference system, navigating this bookshop's full inventory will be a nightmare. Of course, the reference system itself needs to be navigated. You'll just need a magnifying glass, an abacus, a passing familiarity with decimal classification methodologies, 8 or 10 hours, and courage. Hard liquor might not hurt either. Only 40%. Let's see if there's anything else we can do first. A literary event. An author is reading from his latest novel. Enthusiasts have gathered to listen, each clutching their own copy. When the reading is finished, they'll pounce like starving wolves to get his signature, which might be why he hasn't finished yet. He tugs at his collar with a nervous gulp and turns to the next page. Listen to the reading. Something about this novel's plot sounds very familiar. Certain elements have clearly been given a fictional gloss. That bit with the communion wafers, for instance, but it's difficult not to recognise the inspiration behind the novel's blood-sucking nobleman and the nobleman's interest in land ownership. You've no doubt that a student at the university could mine the book for multiple dissertations concerning vampirism and imperialism, or, as some scholars might call them, the same thing. But what catches your ear is a line about where a few coffins might be buried. We'll just browse again. Maybe this will push us up. 3, yes it has. So with 3, can we look at the card catalogue? 60%, I'm going to roll the dice. Let's hope for the best. Damn it. I didn't read that for some reason, I don't know why. I was so upset that I failed, I didn't read it. I do apologise. Other readers again, I guess. I think we're going to end up meeting the Vicomte here. I think or the Vicomte, we've messed up. We can go behind the counter. Plaque on the door says, employees only. But it doesn't specify how anyone should be employed. Someone might, for example, be employed on a personal mission to open the door. For a bookshop, they could employ clearer signage. 60% chance again, shall we try? Oh my. Excuse me, before you can open the door, an old woman hails you across the counter. Would you mind helping her retrieve a book? You are employed here, aren't you? Soon you are standing atop a ladder, pulling down multiple books that are not the right book. Not the one with the flesh-eating roses, the one with the flesh-eating orchids. Not that one with flesh-eating orchids, the sequel with the possessed botanist. Not that sequel. Oh man, this place is ruining me here. Drawing closer, is someone watching you? When you turn around, you see no one, but you hear footsteps. You smell cologne mingled with something rich, something rotten. Your heart begins to beat faster, as it might beat when a will is being read, or when certain stimulants are introduced to the body. You're beginning to feel lightheaded. So we can try to move faster. Let's do that. Let's get away from him. We could linger a little longer, but that will draw him to us. Let's try to move faster and get away. Turn corners. Turn more. Don't look back. There we go. Whatever it was, it's not there anymore. Perhaps there was nothing behind you at all. Of course, behind is a relative term when you can't pinpoint your location. There is always some door that you thought you opened, or some room that you swore you passed through, but which you realize you don't remember. Why does this address feel less welcoming than before? Just browsing again, I guess. Yeah, other readers is too hard to pass, right? Yeah, 40%. Damn, this place is horrible. Oh, behind the counter, 60%. Let's try it. Hey, we succeeded. This isn't the Vicomte's lair, but it is the bookseller's office. You employ yourself quite busily indeed, opening drawers to find what you can find. Like this lease. Its terms bear a certain resemblance to your own chateau's property deed. One line, in particular, catches your eye, and then traps your eye on the page like a prisoner in an oubliette. How many turns can a single clause take before reaching? Good lord, not even a full stop, but a dash. And then it keeps going after a semicolon. There ought to be legal protections against writing legal protections like these. Go down to storage again. That was a nice easy pass, wasn't it? We're at 4. Can we now pass the card catalogue? Oh, it's at 80%. Let's try it. You might find something useful in these files. The files themselves are useful. The more you understand their system, the more you understand how this bookshop's design is derived from that self-same system. Anything you might see in the cards, represented by printed symbols on the page, you can also see in the flesh. Hold the text in your mind, interpret the terms, remember them. For a literary event again. Storage again? Oh damn, we failed. Walking around in circles, it takes too long to realise that the footprints you've been following are your own footprints, tracked from a puddle you walked through. Wait a minute, these are not your footprints. Someone else is down here and they've been following you. Oh dear. Do the other readers? 100% chance, here we go. They haunt the aisles, searching for the next blood-curdling tale. Gaunt men with ink-stained fingers. Perfectly sweet young ladies who would never, oh no, never touch an inappropriate novel. Little children jingling their weekly allowance and standing on tiptoe at the counter to request the latest murder periodical. Seems legit. What they're buying might tell you something about this shop. Their eyes shine when they speak to you. They have the highest compliments. Everything this bookshop sells is absolutely hideous. More hideous even than that. A book must be awful to find a home here. Other shops would never stock such titles in such quantities. Libraries would shy away without understanding the passions that even the most wretched pulp can excite in the blood. Wow, that place sounds pretty metal, doesn't it? Right down to storage again, 70%. That should be 6. Nope, still haven't found the layer yet. A literary event. This place is giving me a right around the Reekings, isn't it? There it is, the Vicomte's lair. Your comprehension sharpens. You understand these books, their fabulous dreams and nightmares, as the Vicomte would understand them. Their stories sink deeper than fangs, their ideas creep into the unguarded mind. You turn the next page in your life, and here it is, the chapter where you find a long box hidden like an overlooked footnote. Yep, let's destroy the Soothing Copper long box. We started one, we may as well carry on. You won't allow the Vicomte to use this address as a safe haven any longer. The Vicomte de V has his way with language, Penstock says once you've returned to the office. You'll be chatting away and you'll forget where you are. Sometimes you'll forget where he is. Words are powerful things. Why, you can unmake an aristocrat with just a few strokes applied to the right paperwork. You can make another one the same way too. Penstock takes back the key, then he stares at your clothes. You're still covered in grime after smashing the long box you found. Might want to launder that outfit, he whispers. Another 5 night soil of the bazaar and 20 romantic notions. Now resistance to certain charms is increasing. Let's discuss the Gothic bookshop. There was clearly more to this shop than the books on the shelves. The Vicomte has an interest in languages, specifically interpretation. Two people can read the same words, hear the same speech, but imagine entirely different things. It's all in the mind, Penstock says, tapping his head with an index finger. And in the words, of course. Have to use the right ones to suggest the right things. Some leave a bigger impact, stick in the memory better, keep having an impact even when you're not reading. Although it's usually the emotions that stick, isn't it? A good romance novel always has me dabbing these old eyes. And I have run out of time today, so we're going to have to look at the observatory in the next episode. Thank you all very much for being here. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Your comments are greatly appreciated. Let me know if you're not destroying the long boxes, and it should be very interesting. But yep, thank you for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time.